Hi everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio, and I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad that you could join me today. And if you're listening to this show on Podomatic, on iTunes, definitely check out also, there's an archive of shows on blogtalkradio.com/CoachDeb that goes back almost 7 years. So don't forget to check that out as well. And make sure you tell your friends, if you've enjoyed this show, to definitely subscribe on iTunes or on Podomatic. And you can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Women Entrepreneurs. And you can like the fan page. And if you have questions or if you just want to share about your business, that's a great place to do it. The blog, Women Entrepreneur Secrets, blogspot.com. is a companion blog for the show, and you will find the extended bios of the show guests there and other good links and articles of interest. So make sure you stop by there, and also if you're interested in posting any articles, please reach out to me. There's a form there that you can fill out with the query about posting on the blog or any advertising that you might want to do. It's a good place to find out there as well, and also information about being a guest on the show. And also my website, DeborahABailey.com, Deborah, abailey.com is a good place for you to go and find out about my books and things I'm doing. And that's pretty much my main website at this point. So you can stop there and get links for other things that I'm doing and other links for the show as well. So I think that covers all the good stuff right there. And we're going to get started today. I'm going to introduce my guest, Kristen Owens, and she's going to speak about how to create a champion mindset for success. And Kristen is first and foremost a wife and mom of 3, and has been in the coaching industry for 20 years, helping women create a life they love. She's known for creating a core foundation for women to develop a powerful mindset and unstoppable energy to cross any finish line with ease and confidence. Kristen empowers women worldwide to stop settling for mediocrity, overcome obstacles, and live in courage while kicking fear to the curb in a fun and inspiring way. And she's mom of 3 and a regular guest, community producer, and TV host of Health Matters on Rogers TV, promoting living your best life. She's been featured on many podcasts and radio shows online. Kristen's enthusiasm and inspiring approach is both empowering and guaranteed to leave you with confidence, courage, and clarity to step out of your way and step into your power. Get ready to unleash and bust through obstacles and achieve your dreams in every area of your life. Welcome, Kristen. Really glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Deb. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and, I really am very interested about your journey, as a coach, and you've been in the industry for a very nice long time, and, just want to know how did that come about for you? How did you get started with it?
Yeah, thank you. So I actually started out in the fitness industry, actually, and I figure skated for many years, and that led me into the fitness industry. I became actually a fitness instructor at a young age, and I went to school for kinesiology, that type of thing, and I started coaching women in the areas of health and wellness. And of course that led me, I managed corporate fitness facilities. When I had my children, I knew that I didn't want to work for someone else. I always had that entrepreneurial mindset and that entrepreneurial spirit within me. And so I knew that once I had my first, I have 3 of them, as you said, and once I had my first, that I was going to, jump in to my own thing, so to speak. So I actually started running a Pilates studio, and when I had my first daughter, who's almost 13, I just had this passion for nutrition, and so what led to my passion led to going to school to be a holistic nutritionist. And I started coaching women in the areas of weight loss and improving their digestion. And what I was noticing when I was working in the areas of weight loss, we all have heard, nutrition is important, movement is important. But I was noticing that women would either lose weight and keep it off or not keep it off, or they would either have a really hard time releasing the pounds for good. And so I started embarking. I had my second child. My husband and I started embarking on personal growth. I don't know, you might have heard of T. Harv Eker. We read his book, Secrets to the Millionaire Mind, and we started to transform our mindset around the way we thought. And I did the intensive with Harv and a number of other programs, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is some really great stuff. And I started seeing myself change and started to see our situations change in the areas of business, in the areas of relationship. Just our lives were changing in a positive way. And so I thought to myself, you know what, if I'm getting the results that I'm getting, then this has got to do something for my clients. And so what I did was I started incorporating a lot of what I was learning into my clients, weight loss clients, and they were actually getting results and they were keeping them off. Like there was one woman, 100 pounds. Like she was going to remortgage her house so that she could go to have a gastric bypass surgery. And so through ontological coaching, which is really the study of who we're being versus always focusing on what we're doing, she was able to release weight and keep it off. And so so that then, of course, from the health and wellness, that is still a passion. But what I started to become even more passionate about was working with women entrepreneurs, working with women in general, because I believe women have dreams and have so much potential within us, and I believe that a lot of it's not tapped into. And so lately I've been working with a lot of women entrepreneurs, helping them to achieve that 5-star life, to be able to get into the unconscious sabotage habits and patterns and behaviors that they're running, that they don't realize they're running, that is keeping them stuck, that is keeping them from not reaching their true potential, to creating that possibility in their life of whatever it is that they want. And so that's really how I got to where I am now. And and I love it. And it's just so amazing to see women who, they know where they want to go. They have that vision, and just being able to equip them and just be that guide, and that mentor to help them get there. I love it.
Right. Wow, that's fantastic. And I think what's so wonderful about it is that you can speak to so many different aspects of health and wellness. And I think, a lot of people are looking at that now because I would think in reaction to, so much, not just negativity that comes at them in the media and that sort of thing, but also being concerned about their food and exercise and well-being. And I just see a lot more of that mentioned now, where maybe not too long ago people would scoff at that and make fun of it, and now that's not something that people make fun of anymore. So I think that's excellent that the mindset has shifted among individuals. The media is still going to be the media, but I think individual people have a totally different feeling about how they want to be in the world, which is really fantastic. And that's certainly something a coach can help people to achieve. Absolutely. So, why do you particularly look at it as a champion mindset? I mean, I love that term.
Yeah.
But, how do you define that?
So champion mindset, when you think of a champion, say, even if we look at athletes, for example, when you think of an athlete that is a champion, an athlete who is a champion, like say an Olympic athlete, gold medalist, they didn't just stumble upon that. They started out, right? They started out with a vision. They had to surround themselves with certain people. They had coaches. They have coaches and mentors because they didn't get to where they are doing it alone. They have a mindset of transformation, that they know that they need to, if they want to, they have a vision, firstly, a vision of where they want to be. They create a mindset that regardless of the obstacles and the adversity that is going to come along the way of reaching their vision, they have that unstoppable attitude, that unstoppable mindset. And one of the books that I've written is really creating that unstoppable mindset, because with a champion mindset, we will be able to achieve whatever it is that we want, whether it's in business, life, personal, health. It doesn't matter what it is. So if we think about what an athlete who's a champion, their mindset and everything that surrounds them is all about, it's got champion written all over it. And I think that we can really learn from that to move forward.
Yes, that's so true, and I think that's really wonderful point that you're making, because when people are champions in Olympics and sports, so much goes into that, and so much is preparation mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And I think at times those things are downplayed, and I keep going back to the media, but a lot of times that's what puts the messages out there that people will often believe that aren't always true or aren't always telling the whole story. And, I can remember maybe seeing around the Olympics, some athletes are advertising certain things like McDonald's or whatever.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, okay, I really don't think that they're sitting around eating these hamburgers.
Exactly. You are right.
Before they go out there and work. And I think the thing is that the average person may not understand just how much goes into that preparation to be at that top form.
Yeah.
They just assume it's, you just run out there and do whatever and then you go back home, I guess. I don't know. But, do you feel that being or having that champion mindset, I should say, do you feel that's something that really is accessible to the average person who wants to be a champion in their life?
Absolutely. And you know what? The key word there that you said is who wants to be. And that's right. That's the key is you have to want it. And because the thing is, what I know from personal experience is, when we talk about mindset and have that champion mindset, you have to want it, and you have to want it bad enough that when it gets challenging, you have to guard your mindset like nothing else. Because the thing is that when you're about to embark on a change or a transformation, or just, you've made that decision and commitment to say, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm going to achieve my goals and whatever it is, what happens is automatically things are going to start coming up to test you to see, okay, are you really for real? And so, yes, you have to choose. You have to decide that you're going to do it, and you've just got to, really, the biggest thing there is decide. You got to decide. The first thing before anything else is you have to decide, and then you have to recognize that things are going to come up, and you have to go back to that commitment. Yes, what am I committed to? I'm committed to making this work. And initially, it can be very challenging, but we just keep pushing on. Just like the champion athletes do, they just keep pushing on.
That's an excellent point. I think, and what you said about wanting, really wanting it, because that, to me, that a lot of times is what happens when people tend to procrastinate about making a positive change. A lot of times, people will complain, this doesn't work, or that doesn't work, or I can't keep this going, and sometimes you're like, well, is it because you think you should do it, or you're not really committed to doing it? You wonder, are people really ready for the change that they say they want to make?
Yes. And you said something big there was excuses. Like, this is the thing is that many times people have excuses, but they don't, their excuses sound so legit. Like, it makes sense, and it makes sense to them, and it's what I call their quote unquote, their story. It's just a story. But everyone's story to them is real. And so, we have to go back to how badly do you want it? And this is why I believe coaches are so key, because we, as coaches can see when you're going through your stuff, you can't always be that outside objective person. Whereas you have a coach, they're able to see things before you can see, and they can see and hear things just from what you're saying and things that you're doing that you can't see. And this is where I believe that, when we talk about surrounding yourself, you become the average of the 5 people that you hang around. And who is the team? I talk to clients about creating that dream team, as some would say, like creating a team that is going to help you move forward. And part of that team might be a coach, a mentor. It could be, say, podcasts like what you have, Deb. It could be also, who are you surrounding yourself with? So it's important to develop a team, because when we set that vision, guaranteed, hands down, things are going to come up that make it difficult to move forward. And that would be the next point, is really making sure that you have a team, that dream team that's going to help you and be by your side to move you forward. Because if you are around naysayers, the ones that, oh, why are you bothering with that? And, oh, my gosh, you're the weird one, whereas why aren't you like everyone else, right? Then what happens is you slide back in with that group. So, yeah.
You're right. And, I think that's so interesting, because a lot of times people may not realize that the people they thought were in their corner aren't, until they try to make a change.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, because the very first thing is that when you decide to make a change, or you decide to, after say a woman right now is listening to this podcast, this interview, and says, you know what, I really need to get my mindset in check. I want to move forward. I want to make a change in my life. Around that, whether it be weight loss, whether it be business, whether it's starting your own business, becoming an entrepreneur, because that's a completely different mindset than, say, the employee mindset. So what happens is we have a set of friends, we have family, right? And usually they like our family and friends. This is all unconscious. They like where we're at. They like to know that, we're all kind of in the same boat. But then as soon as one person steps out of that boat and goes into a different boat, then they start to realize, like, what happens is you start to shine this light, if you will. That light is giving other people permission. You're becoming very inspiring. But the thing is that some people will be inspired and some people will take it negatively, because they then start to look at themselves, and it causes them to have to really look at themselves. And for many people, that's challenging. So that's the first thing, is to recognize that if people begin to not want to hang around you, it's okay. It is not even your fault. It's not their fault. It's just that they're starting to see, it's just causing them to look at themselves in a different way. And many times that can be very scary. The second thing is, again, surrounding yourself with people that you want to become, that you want to be like. And so look at following, other women, for example, that are maybe have the mindset that you aspire to, or maybe in terms of business, maybe they're where you want to be. So just find those people that inspire you, that are there to leave you better off than when you came, type of thing. And then, you might have friends. There might be women listening to the call right now that have friends and family where they can't really get away, but it's really important to limit yourself, because you are going to have those naysayers. It's just the way it is. I don't think I know anyone that hasn't had at least one. So, looking at who can you follow. So maybe right now, the spouse isn't, quite in the same boat. The family's not a lot of friends. So then you look outside and you look at, people, women that are speaking on your podcast, Deb, yourself, other people that, I think that's where a lot of women start with, is hearing these podcasts. This is why these podcasts are so great, is following women that are where you want to be and that make you feel good. Whether you know them or not, follow them, because now with the internet and the social media nowadays, you can actually begin to start to really get to know somebody just through those avenues, right? So that would be very, very important. So if you don't have anyone, look somewhere else as to, any of us that are on being interviewed. Just find someone or a couple people that you really resonate with and just follow them. Because, myself, and I know there's other, Deb, you probably do the same thing. There's a lot of other colleagues of ours out there, we're putting inspiring information out there. Whenever I put video vlogs out there, like vlogs out, it's always about inspiring. It's always about how can we get to a solution, or what can we do now after reading this blog or listening to this vlog? How can you move forward? It's always about how can I move forward?
Yes, that's really true, and that's excellent points to make. About really inspiring other people and having this information out there that helps people who may not, in a lot of cases may not have that support handy, but they can look to some other folks out there who are putting out something very positive. And just speaking of that, what I find so interesting is I think just about from beginning, I know as far as Twitter goes, a lot of times people would share inspiring quotes.
Mm-hmm.
And, I collected quotes before social media, but it just seems to be a gigantic thing to get quotes. And I'm saying, I think to me, the thread that runs through that is people want to be inspired. They want to know that other people have gone through what they've gone through, or understand the things they go through. And it's just, you look at that and you realize that has become such a main way that people share on social media is sharing quotes.
Yes. It's true.
So, that's kind of saying something about what people get out of that, and how so many of them are usually encouraging or they're thought-provoking in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of tells you that overall, even if you may be getting a lot of other negative or non-supportive messages, underneath it all, there's this desire that people have, that they want to be encouraged and they want to believe and hope and have these things. That it's I feel more in the human condition to want those things than to want the negative part of it. So when you look at that, you're like, oh, okay, there's something there going on that maybe isn't so obvious because we're so used to seeing it, but it's an important thing. To note. So, when you work with people with the champion mindset, with women business owners, that's definitely a big wave of entrepreneurship. Do you find that a lot of times women may not really always have the confidence to get out there and just say, yes, I'm here and I've got this business and I know I can do it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot because I know visibility can be a very big challenge for a lot of women. I deal with when working with women, I deal with, like I said, a lot of unconscious sabotages, habits and patterns and behaviors. And one of them is the underlying fear of not being good enough, or it's not good enough, or people will notice that it's not good enough, or I'm not good enough. So I see that coming up a lot, and that will show up in many different ways in a woman's life. And it doesn't mean it ever really goes away, but it doesn't have to be so much in control. So I find visibility is a big one. And even for myself for a while sometimes even still, I will find my tendency is to be, because I would say I'm more of an introvert. And, I'm not as much as what I used to be, but we grow out of these things. But at the same time, sometimes we have those tendencies that more dominating introvert tendencies. So then what happens is we start to realize that we're kind of shying away and kind of going behind the scenes. And instead of doing a video, we write a blog and, that kind of thing, right? But yeah, I would say that with most women, I would see probably the visibility, because again, we go back to, the whole not good enough. I mean, I can't tell you how big that is, and it's such an unconscious thing, is that women unconsciously don't realize they're thinking that. It's so unconscious and so deep, and we develop these unconscious limiting beliefs, if you will, back between the ages of 0 and 6. So, I mean, there could be, especially around money. Oh my gosh, money. And maybe even building our business. Like, with some women will feel that, you have to work really hard to build a business. Whereas what I teach is you don't have to work really hard. It's about working smart. And it's also about really focusing on where you're going and doing it with ease and with in fun. Because you can accomplish so much more when you're doing something with having fun and also doing it with ease. And when we talk about having fun, my question to anyone listening to the interview is, what are you doing on a daily basis that is focusing on your well-being? And because our well-being is one of the, as I say, one of the two pillars to success, well-being and integrity. So the two pillars to success are, if you have a skyscraper, this huge skyscraper, like in Toronto here, we have the CN Tower. It's quite big. And if the CN Tower didn't have a good foundation, it would fall over. Well, the same thing is with us and our successes. So when we're talking about creating a champion mindset, it's really important to make sure we have those two pillars of success in place and well-being. So what are you doing on a daily basis that is contributing to the well-being, to your well-being? And we look at in the areas of physical, mental, emotional, spiritually. It could be financial, it could be relationship, depending on what's going on in the person's life. But what I'm going to suggest for women listening is I highly recommend to just start looking at the areas that you can write out physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, the areas that you can start to focus on a daily basis. For example, what are your beliefs? What are your beliefs in your business? Like, do you believe that growing a business and becoming successful is hard work? Because as long as you have these beliefs, what happens is you are going to automatically default in doing whatever how do I want to say it? What's the word I want? In just confirming that belief is true. So if you believe, right? So whatever your belief is, so this is one of the areas is what is your belief? What are your beliefs? And whatever your belief is, if it's more of on the negative side, you will do whatever you can do to confirm that belief. So you will attract all these circumstances to make it difficult. Yeah, and that's not fun.
Yeah, and that's very interesting because I'm sure that most people probably wouldn't realize that.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
That they were bringing in these experiences, or even, often people will notice things that I guess maybe sometimes people will notice things that they themselves should be working on.
Yeah.
And they were quick to point out in other people.
Yeah.
And, so two different people could have totally different experiences because one person's always going to be noticing certain things. And, I think in the same way that people that constantly experience certain things that are negative and they don't see how that's happening. Why does this keep happening? And it's like... That's
right. And you know what, Deb, actually, you just made me think of this as well. It's, when you said blaming it, sometimes we put it on another person, or we might blame it on another person. We don't see what's going on in ourselves. Now, this is another problem when we talk about a champion mindset, because are you in victim context, or are you in at cause or responsibility? Because when we're in the victim context, we're always blaming on the circumstance or on another person, or it's never us. It's always, you should be doing this, or this didn't work because this coach isn't good enough, or whatever, right? So how can we then having a champion mindset, when you think of that athlete is not going, oh, woe is me. That athlete is like, okay, what can I do now to take my game to the next level? And so that's what I believe we should look at, is asking ourselves, what can I do to take my game to the next level? Keep it simple. That well-being checklist is the first thing, is creating that checklist, and every day making sure if for example, meditating is one of those things that is going to move you forward, then, schedule the time in to make that happen. Because if you're not scheduling time in for yourself, it's not going to happen. I know that personally. Right? We schedule in time for everything else, for the kids' stuff, for the dentist, and everything else.
Right. Well, we've come to the end of the show, and I want to thank Kristen Owens for joining me today. We've had a fantastic discussion, and unfortunately, we're already at the 30-minute mark, so we're going to have to wrap it up. But once again, I want to thank you for joining me for Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. And thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye now.